Hi guys, this is Peter from Functional Therapy. Today I want to talk about functional movement, what functional movement is. Everyone talks about function and everything is now functional GP. There's a functional dentistry that I've discovered recently. Yet they still, and like a natural dentistry, yet they still use zinc. So how natural like it can be. Anyways, I want to talk about functional movement, and recently I've done a post. Like it had a huge success. I think about 50 people watched that one, and it's just because of people don't want to think. Anyways, so maybe okay, if you watch it, like maybe you want to think, you want to watch that one, and about the functional movement because of they talk about deadlift is functional, and if you work with two joints, then it's a compound movement and it's a functional movement. So when you lift in the box from the floor, it's basically a functional movement because it mimics the uh, deadlift movement. And there are so many manuals how we should lift things with a straight back, with where the weight should be and everything. And it makes perfect sense and it's absolutely true. But it's not it's not the function of the body as the body was designed. It's the best way how you can leverage the movement. And it's that there are two completely different things. Because you can learn how to leverage everything, then you can almost lift everything. You can lift way heavier things than you would be able to without doing this way. So let's say if you do the squat, so maybe you're gonna see it. So if I want to lift something from here when I'm on my toes and knees are too forward, how can I lift something when I'm loading my quads rather than if I drive my hips back and lifting it with the posterior chain? So like 100%, like this is something that we have to learn if we want to, first of all, understand how the body moves in a, let's say, if we say that the body operates in a linear movement, but there's a problem, like AI usually say, there's a catch or like there's something else. We never move linear. The movement in the body is not linear. It's everything but not linear. But for loads of people, they need to understand what linear means. And linear means, and if this is your legs, like this is your hip joint, so you move like that. So you move. So there are pulleys, there are vectors, there are force vectors, and like how forces are being applied through the body. So yes, 100%. So like, this is what people need to understand. So if I work with someone, yes, this is what we do, because they need to learn how, let's say in an ideal world, how we should live things, or not ideal world, the reality that we are living, how we live things, how we want to prevent ourselves from getting injured. So that's the one thing. But the functional movement is completely different. The functional movement, the real function, like the way how I see it, is you put the minimal input and you get in maximum output. So if you move, they probably like in a video like I'm going to put few examples. If you move, then the initiation where the movement starts from, it's like that. It has to be like a spark, rather than like that you do crazy movement in order to initiate the movement. You can do that, but obviously then you waste so much energy. So we try to condense the movement and move like closer to the axis, because of if this is the axis, the whole movement, it's either spiral movement, which is like that, or it's the movement comes in a wave. So if we say that we operate in a frontal plane, so we move like that. So this is the wave. So this is how we move. This is how we should move. If you see how snakes moves, it goes like that. So our nature basically is telling us like how we should move, but we try to operate that it's just like doing these things, like how deadlift, deadlift, or how people who do deadlift, like how they move, which is, there's nothing functional about it. So just hopeful people one day they stop saying that, because of, if you go back to how cells move in the body, how fascia moves, there's nothing linear in our movement, and it never should be. It's a fluid. Our body is fluid, like how the body how fluids move within the body. They don't move left, right, upper, left, to the side, up, down. So they move this way. So that's how we have to move as well. But body needs to understand what, let's say, what the reality, what potentially left, right means, because of that's how people learn what they should be feeling, where the tension should be drawn from. So when we say anatomy trains, which is perfect example. So we train people based on anatomy trains. So based on a posterior line, based on the anterior line, based on the, let's say, superficial line, deep front line, spiral line, functional line. So we train people based on that, but it's just a model, because of, we would be thinking that the movement goes up and down. So it means there are vectors going up and down, but the movement is omnidirectional. So it goes everywhere, always everywhere. So that's why we talk about the waves, that's why we talk about the spiral. And if you want to move the best possible way, there is a spiral as there is the wave type like movement. So this is functional movement. Or actually, again, for me, this is my personal opinion. If it makes sense to you, can. So just, yeah, brilliant, perfect. But please question it. Please start questioning things. You don't trust me just because if I say something, and I've got 10,000 followers on the Instagram. So it should mean something. It means absolutely nothing. So if you find it interesting, just drop me a message. I'll be more than happy talking about it. If you don't want to put anything in comments, if you want to put anything in comments, yeah, let's talk about it. I love to talk about it. So hopefully it just made sense, and it literally that it explained a bit how we should move, and so what's the functional movement, what the real function is, and how we should move. So we have to deviate, we have to steer away from deadlifts. The deadlift, it's all wrong. So in the same thing, we talk. Yeah, there are so many approaches that I can talk about, but let's say the deadlift, it's quite pinnacle. That's what people consider, especially strength and conditioning coaches, think that's the best thing that ever happened to fitness industry. So yes, I'm gonna shut up. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.